Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching Now Media Television.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to thank again Kyle Campbell for coming from Hotel and Insurance Services, talking to us about how business owners can really plan for some of the unpredictable things like an owner or a partner getting sick or injured. So really excited to be able to have on CPA guest Tammy Mihail here to the show. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So tell us, Tammy, for people that might not know your story and what you guys do over there at your firm, who are you and what do you guys do?
Well, I have a small CPA firm. We specialize in individual returns and small to mid-sized businesses. And we go to mid-sized businesses up to about 25 million.
Okay. So that's a decent sized business. Is there a certain number of employees then that typically constitute that kind of business for you guys?
Well, if you have about 25 million in revenue, you have about 50 to 75 million or 75 employees.
Gotcha. And so for you guys at your team, are you guys focusing kind of on that annual tax return that needs to be done on a regular basis, or do you get involved with some of the strategy that's required for some of those business owners?
Well, we do both.
Okay.
We work on the strategy. We help do the tax planning. We answer lots of questions, how to do this, or should we do this, or when should we do that. We also do the tax returns, the quarterly filings, the annual filings.
Gotcha. And so it's got to be a very busy time of the year, depending on certain times for you, yes, right? April and October.
Definitely, definitely.
So kind of maybe give people a little bit of a background on your story. How did you get involved with becoming the president of your own business?
Oh my goodness. Well, I started out of college working for a local CPA firm, and I was there for a little while. And actually, it's kind of weird. I didn't plan it this way, but I jumped CPA firms and ended up with a following.
Okay.
And then at my last CPA firm, I was like, well, I've got a nice book of business, and I just kind of jumped out there on my own and started my own practice.
I love it.
I took a leap of faith, said a prayer, and here I started my own practice, and it's grown. We've been in business now for 7 years.
7 years, phenomenal, yes. Phenomenal work. And I got to imagine with all the things that were going on last year with the PPP, I'm sure that you and your team were extremely busy just trying to help your clients make sense of how to deal with some of that.
Yes, we answered lots of questions about the PPP loans. We're actually helping people do the PPP forgiveness applications still. So that's still a part of our practice.
All right. So if maybe a business owner isn't really kind of taking care of that, that's something that they can reach out to you and your team and get the advice and the direction that they need. And of course, the filing, that's so important.
Yes, getting that filing in so you can be forgiven is very important. Don't want to have to pay that back. No.
So sometimes you'll run into, Tammy, some businesses that might be working with someone, maybe they've outgrown someone. How would they know that they've outgrown their current bookkeeper or tax service? What do you kind of see when you're kind of coming into those businesses?
I hear a lot that, they can't answer the questions that they need, or they don't, their current preparer or bookkeeper don't offer the right services that they need. Like they can't, they don't understand the amortization or the next tax planning, or one current client, didn't understand gifting or how to do gifting. So that, that would be a time when you need to move to maybe a firm my size that could help out with that.
Gotcha. And so sometimes you find that it might be a business maybe just has outgrown, in a good way, their current services that they're receiving.
Right.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Okay. Is there any particular segment of the market that seems to be a really good niche for you and your team? Maybe, obviously, we're in a big oil and energy space. Is there a particular industry that you guys work really well with?
Well, we do a lot of manufacturing and a lot of real estate. Okay. We have a lot of self-employed people. Goodness, we have a little bit of everything. We've got a lot of people that do home improvements, flipping houses. We've a little bit of lots of stuff.
That's amazing. So right now, with kind of the end of the year, are there certain things that some business owners really should be looking at when it comes to, maybe they're not necessarily, it seems like sometimes they'll ignore this until it becomes a problem, or they're waiting for the filing dates. There's something that business owners should be concerned of right now, or be aware of.
Right now it's planning. We need to do planning right now. We need to be looking at your books and seeing what we can do to save money and making sure your books are in order. For first thing, they need to be in order, and we need to be looking to see what we can do to save for the end of the year. So this is the time, can we buy new assets? Can we bonus your employees? Do we need to set up, maybe a IRA or some type of pension plan, or what can we do to save for the end of the year?
So this is a great time really for business owners to really not ignore, just because the filing might have been done for October or April, now's the time to really start figuring out what they can be doing.
For the end of the year, definitely.
Gotcha. And so is there a hard deadline? Is it December 31st, or do they have, if they're, let's say you're going to do a bonus for their employees, can that roll over into 2022?
The bonus can roll over. We have a little time into 2022, but we really need to start looking at it now.
Gotcha. And then for folks that might not be kind of aware of what they're kind of dealing with right now with some of their tax work or audit work or things like that, what's a good way for them to be able to learn more about some of the services that you guys offer?
Well, we do have a website. The website's mihailcpa.com, so it's mihailcpa.com. So that's our website. So that lists a lot of our services there. And they can always call me. Our office number is 281-406-8984. And I do have an email, everybody does. And it's Tammy, Tammy, at mihailcpa.com. And again, it's mihailcpa.com.
Perfect, and that's a great way for people to get in touch with you and figure out kind of, hey, are their services, are they receiving the right service for the kind of business they are right now? And I find that that's maybe a big kind of eye-opener for a lot of business owners. They realize they really don't know what they don't know when they start working the professional.
Yeah, they don't know what they don't know. How do you know? You have to ask questions and come to me, and we can look at your financials and your returns and see where the holes are.
Yeah. And then for a lot of businesses that are out there right now that might be looking at having that kind of conversation, is there anything they need to do in order to prepare for that conversation with you, Tammy?
Well, I always do ask for them to, bring me their tax returns, get their tax returns together and get their financials together. That's what I would like to see. So when we have that first conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that allows you, I'm sure, you and your team to kind of look at and pop up in the hood, so to speak, and their numbers and find out kind of what's going on.
What's going on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, I know that being a CPA allows you to kind of practice wherever the sunshine is, so to speak. But do you find that your clients primarily here in Houston, or are they all over
we office in Sugar Land, so we're at Eldridge and 90, right at the railroad tracks. But we have clients all over the United States because we do have a portal. We do Zoom meetings, so people can be anywhere. So.
Gotcha. So are you finding that right now in regards to your services, are boundaries kind of gone now at this point in being able to offer your services really across the country? Across
the country. Boundaries are lifted. It's fantastic because we do state returns in all states that are needed. And so it's fantastic.
Right. And so I know that there's a lot of businesses moving in from California, New York. They're relocating their headquarters. And they might want to get somebody that's obviously versed with doing business in Texas.
I do get a lot of questions about that. What locally do we have to file?
Yeah. So what does that look like from you guys? Is that a complex problem that they should be aware of?
Well, the thing that some people don't understand is Texas franchise. That's the big Texas franchise. I hear that a lot. What's that? And that, we've got local returns and stuff that we have to file that a lot of times they're not aware of. So we go over that.
Gotcha. So on the individual side, even though there's no state income tax, as a business, it's a different game.
It is a little, yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times when you're talking to some of those, either it's those companies that are expanding beyond our current state or they're moving here, what does that conversation kind of sound like for you? Is it similar to just a normal everyday conversation, or are you kind of digging in a little bit more on what's going on?
Well, we do talk about what states they're in. And where do they have assets there? Do they have an office there, employees there? So we can see how much they're affected and how much we're going to need to file and what we need to do. So we do have to talk and ask more questions.
What about companies now that have some employees that now have enjoyed the work from home and they've found to be productive working from home?
That's awesome.
And they decided now to be remote, no longer in Texas, and they want to be remote in a different state. How does that affect the business owner? Should they be doing something differently?
We have to talk about payroll issues.
Okay.
Potential payroll issues.
Gotcha. And if for a lot of businesses that are only housed here in Texas, what does that look like for them from a payroll perspective?
Well, we're going to need to discuss. We don't do a whole lot of payroll. We do some. We do smaller payroll. but we'll need to discuss with their payroll company and see what we need to do about that.
Gotcha. So there might be some things that they need to be aware of, because I know that there are a lot of people, right, that decided, hey, you know what? In the winter months, I'm going to go to Hawaii. And I'm going to go
Wouldn't that be
vacation there,
nice?
right? I'm going to have to deal with the time zone differences, but I want to do that instead. And so I think a lot of people, they don't kind of think that through,
Right.
because they're so focused in on, hey, it's just what I want to do.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Though? I'd like to do that.
Well, you are the president, Tammy. It sounds like you could make some changes. Well, wonderful.
Office visits would be a little hard.
I'm sure they would be a bit of a bear. So again, Tammy, when business owners, again, remind folks what's an ideal. Obviously, you can do the individual tax returns.
Yes.
But when it comes to some of that business owner space, what's kind of the size that's ideal for you and your team?
Ideally, we handle $1 million or more, but we do smaller ones. We don't turn anyone away.
Yeah.
But $1 million or more is our goal. We also do, to add to it, we do also do nonprofits. We do the S corps, the partnerships, the trusts. We do estates. We do the full gamut. So.
Okay. Yeah. So not just people that own a business, it could be different entities that maybe somebody set up for like a foundation or to be able to pass on wealth.
Yes, we do a lot of that. Family limited partnerships. We do it all.
Oh, wonderful. And again, Tammy, how can folks get in touch with you and your team to be able to make sure that they're having the right set of eyes look at their overall finances?
Okay, so we do have the website, which is at www.mihailcpa.com, so mihailcpa.com. And then my email is Tammy, Tammy, at mihailcpa.com. And the office number is 281-406-8984.
All right, folks. Well, thanks again, Tammy, for coming on the show and sharing with us what you guys do over there at Mihail CPA. And again, folks, you can reach out to her at mihailcpa.com. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with Ranjit.